Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Farm Down NFL podcast with me, Jim, Finn, Denver Dave, and Punk Raider. We're here to talk about NFL, boys. How are we doing?
Excellent, because you're about to read out my scores from last week, which were uber
Oh,
good.
I'm sure there's
started
been
already.
shenanigans. I'm sure
Nah,
there's shenanigans. There's no way Dave
you
is
grab a broom.
nearly behind the mountain.
even a stopwatch is right twice a day. You know this.
Yeah,
It had to come
Oh, yeah.
eventually.
Thank God for the 49ers and you saying F the Chiefs, because
Yeah,
otherwise,
I know, right?
we'd
And that
never
was
hear
my
the
double
end.
down as well.
It was. We'd never hear
It's
the
so
end of this.
typical. The only one I get wrong, sorry for the spoiler, only one I get wrong is the bloody one I double down on.
Yes.
Never mind.
So we're here to do the week 8 picks. Before we do that, we're going to go through the week 7 wrong uns. There weren't that many, as usual. Not that many. But we'll go through them now. Picking for the people last week was Grant. So thank you very much, Grant, for coming and doing the picks for us. There was no games where all 5 of us got it wrong. So that's always a good start. Only one game where 4 of us got it wrong. And that gratingly was the Saints losing to the Broncos.
Yeah,
and
baby.
Grant doubled down on the Saints pick for the people. Obviously, only Chuckles there picked the Broncos. There were 2 games where 3 of us got it wrong. The Seahawks Falcons. So me, Punk, and Finn picked the Falcons.
I don't mind it.
and Dave picked the Seahawks. Your
You'll
reverse
take the L
Uno
on that one.
you think worked.
Yeah.
And the other one.
Well, it did work, Jim. I didn't think it worked. It factually
It's
worked.
cause and effect, and you had absolutely no
A week
effect
to
on that
this.
whatsoever.
It's what I tell myself.
The other one was the Chiefs 49ers. So Punk, Dave, and Grant picked the 49ers to beat the Chiefs. Ridiculous. Dave, you also doubled down. So yeah, that's out the window. And then there were 5 games where 2 of us got it wrong. The Jags Patriots. Me and Grant picked the Patriots. Grant, as a Patriots fan, also went that way. It started off all right, then quickly turned sour.
You dared to call me a fool over the last one.
They were on
You
a
picked the
roll.
Patriots.
They were looking like they had something going. Yeah, they didn't. Then the Lions Vikings. So Finn and Grant picked the Vikings, and Finn, you doubled down that Vikings pick as well. Your spiciness.
I did.
Steelers Jets. Punk and Finn picked the Jets, and Punk, you doubled down the Jets.
Did.
Yep.
Depressing.
That's all we're saying about that one. Let's move on.
Buccaneers Ravens. So for some reason I picked the Buccaneers. Don't know why, against the Ravens. And Grant also picked the Buccaneers. So yes, that one worked out well for you 3. And the other game where 2 of us got it wrong was the Cardinals and Chargers. Finn and Grant picked the Chargers. I doubled down on the Cardinals, so I got my double down point. And that made me the only person to win their double down for week 7. There were 2 island games. Texans Packers, I picked the Texans, and if it wasn't for a last second kick, I would have come through on that one. And the Rams Raiders.
Hang on. You just lost. There's no if it wasn't for a last.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it was a last second field goal.
Because it's
No,
your
it's
So
not.
pick.
we could
No,
all
you
make a
just
case
lost. It's
close.
against
all
why all
that.
of our teams
It wasn't
we
about,
haven't
it was
all got
close.
clean sweeps.
It was close.
I love that. Jim says one little thing at the end of
Look at
it.
this.
All 3 of us jumped down his throat.
I know, ridiculous.
Cardinals Chargers was a 2-point game, so that was even closer. There was no snidey comment there. Dear me.
Well, no, I just said I got my double down. Thank you for letting me mention it again. And the
It's
other
all about the
Island
egg.
game was the Rams Raiders, and of course, Punk, despite now being no longer a Raiders fan, still keeps picking them. So you went for the Raiders, and it didn't work out. So that means, unfortunately, in the table we have a clear winner at the moment, and that's
Yeah.
Dave with 78 points. I have 74. Finn has 72. Punk has 66, and the people
Dreadful.
have 56
I swear this is the worst season I've ever had on picking
I
games.
agree.
so far.
Blame the man in charge of the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Oh
I do.
yeah,
I
yeah.
do.
It's the person who's
I very much
calculating the
do.
numbers. It's the problem. Yeah, yeah. Not your terrible picks.
Absolutely.
He
You're
doubled
not
down the
changing
Jets. He
things.
deserves everything he gets this week. Anyway, that is week 7 booted. Move on. All right, boys. Time for week 8 of the NFL season. We need a new person for the people, and we have it. And it is a bit of a ringer because it is Chiefs Mike. Mike, welcome back to the pod, mate. How you doing?
Very good, thanks. Yep, I am a person. So
You're a
I'm
person.
qualified to represent the people.
You are, and every time you've represented the people, you've done so with aplomb, I must say. You normally get a winning record.
Oh, thank you.
We need you to do it again. Well, the people need you to do it again anyway. 'Cause,
I heard that the
they're in a
people had
hole.
crawled into the tank and were currently being set on fire by
They're
various
currently
adversaries.
festering and rotting because they're not doing too well.
They had a good, all right week this week. Grant didn't have a great week. Obviously, in real life, we were at the Wembley together, watching his Patriots lose to the Jags. But yeah,
and the sadness spreading across his face.
It did slowly
He's
but
a
surely.
Patriots fan. He's used to it. He's accepted it.
I'm not sure they have.
He took it manfully. The first quarter was looking all right, and hope was spreading across his face, but yeah, didn't last.
Yeah. It was certainly a painting being done there. We're going to talk, though, about these 16 games. We're going to start with the Thursday night game. It is the Minnesota Vikings at the Los Angeles Rams. Mike, as our esteemed guest, who are you going for, sir, and why?
I'm going with the Vikings. I think in some ways it's potentially quite a close game, but the Rams are almost at the cusp of the shall we blow up our season decision. Obviously, they've had receiver issues galore. I think there's a rumor that Cooper Kupp might be fit, but another rumor that they might want to trade him. Apparently, they've been shopping him around.
To the Vikings is one of the teams that have been named.
Yeah.
It should be ironic.
So, if he is fit, will they play him and risk injury when they want to move him? I don't know. But I think whether he's fit or not, the Vikings have been playing excellently this year. I think Darnold has been bucking all the claims made about him and dishing it, although in a good setup, in a good team. So I think it's an easy, no-brain decision to pick the Vikings for this one.
Okay. Finn?
Yeah, Vikings for me as well. I just think that obviously a bit of bias.
Yeah.
But I also, the Rams just, even if Cooper Kupp's back, they're still struggling a lot on offense. And I don't think having him back single-handedly is going to be enough, particularly in this game. So Vikings for me.
Okay. Punk?
I agree. The Rams last week were struggling to beat the Raiders without the Raiders helping them. So yeah, I can't see anything on a short week, even with Cooper Kupp, other than the Vikings win, to be honest.
Yeah, 2 scores.
Anything you can say, Dave, in the Rams' defense?
What everyone else said.
All right, it's a sweep then for the Vikings in the picks. First off, it's a sweep. Obviously, it's also daylight savings time this weekend, so make sure your clocks are going back by an hour.
Red
so
Zone
it's
starts
actually
at 5.
5 o'clock, much
Yeah.
nicer for us.
Beautiful.
5 o'clock in the PM. We're going to talk about a game that was flexed out of the later window, and that is the Philadelphia Eagles at the Cincinnati Bengals. So, Dave, what are you going
you have
for?
to pick me first. This is 2 awful, underachieving defenses, so it's going to be about whose offense is less flaccid. Now you got an image in your head. I'm going to go.
Thanks for that.
I'm going to go Joe Burrow because I prefer him as a quarterback. So Bengals and I can back it with no reasoning whatsoever because it's about who's less crap on the day.
Punk.
I am amazed the Eagles are 4-2.
Yeah.
It seems like a ridiculous. It's almost as bad as the Steelers record.
Look at who they played. Oi, oi, oi.
Every week.
But yeah, no, I agree with what Dave said. I think they're 2 massively underperforming teams. I trust the Bengals at home a little bit more than I do the Eagles away. Although the way Saquon Barkley's playing, anything is possible. But yeah, I'm going to go Bengals.
Okay. Finn?
I kept changing my mind on this one.
Yeah.
I think, to a degree, it looked like the Eagles pulled it all together last week, but then it was against the Giants, so it's taken with a massive pinch of salt. Bengals never seem to get both sides of the ball playing well for a full game, and are always over-reliant on either the defense or the offense. But I'm going to go with the Bengals winning this one. Like Dave, I just trust Joe Burrow a bit more.
Okay. And Mike?
I'm going to pick the Eagles.
See, this is why the people are losing.
The Bengals have some excellent players on offense. Joe Burrow clearly knows how to win, although doesn't always go ahead and apply this knowledge to winning. Good players on offense, but an absolute doormat of a defense. I'm not saying that the Eagles are that much better. But if the Eagles get their nose in front, expect another gigantic Saquon Barkley game, because that doormat of a defense is going to have his boots wiped all over them and dried repeatedly, and he'll have another 180-yard game and 2 touchdowns. So if they get their noses in front, bye bye Bengals. So that's my pick.
I was talking to a Giants fan that I work with, and we were discussing Saquon Barkley, and the one thing that he said is normally when Barkley was at the Giants and he had a monster week, the following week he was useless. Now, obviously, last week was a bit of a revenge game, and he had a big week, loads and loads of carries. Maybe this week will be a bit of an off one. So yeah, even more reason to go to the Bengals.
It's pretty finely balanced, to be fair, Dave. Obviously, this is a chance for the Bengals to get back to 500. And if they're going
Well,
to
that's
make a run
finely
at the,
balanced, mate. You're on an island. What are you talking about?
He's
if
not
they're
on an
going to make
island, actually.
if they're going to have a crack at the playoffs, they need to get back to 500 now.
He's on an island for non-biased people because obviously Jim's not going to pick the Bengals. We know this. Come on.
Wait a minute. I was going to say, yeah, all right. Finn was right that the Eagles have played some dross teams. I said it a couple of weeks ago.
Yes,
They kept
both
getting
teams
handed.
have, in fairness.
Well, I was going to say the Bengals' only wins have come against the Panthers, the Giants, and the Browns. Those are the three. Those are the along with the Patriots, the four worst teams in football. So they have not done well.
I'm
They
just
have
happy that
not
Jim
done well.
isn't counting the Broncos as one of the top four teams. That's like a win for me.
You're not one that. No, you're
Same
not.
with the
Come on.
Raiders.
That's
And the
Dave's
Raiders.
Super
I
Bowl.
know.
I'm
That's
objective. I'm
It's the
objective with
nicest
my,
thing
my
Jim's ever said
criticism.
to me.
So I'm going to go with the Eagles. Okay, Saquon might have a slightly down game than the heroics he did last week, but you've still got AJ Brown and Devonta Smith there. You've still got Dallas Goedert. You've still got the weapons, and the Bengals have just been choking it every time they've had a chance to win something. So I'm going with the Eagles. We're going to move on then to an AFC North matchup of the Baltimore Ravens at the Cleveland Browns. Punk.
I mean, is this even a choice?
Is anyone picking the Browns?
Anyone
is anyone
picking
gonna
the
pick the
Browns at all?
Go pick the Browns. We move on.
No.
No one's picking the Browns.
Everyone's going Ravens.
This is going to be
Even
an
you're going
unholy spanking.
Even
Yeah.
I have to go with Ravens on this occasion.
Even Mike
Wow.
Stefanski's going for the Ravens on this one.
This is going to be an absolute paddling.
Whatever.
We're gonna do a quick one then for the Titans at the Lions. Is anyone foolhardy enough to go for the Tennessee Titans?
Nope.
Without DeAndre Hopkins, obviously.
I mean, if they put Will Levis back in, then surely there's a chance. But
the chance of
Maybe
what?
we should make this interesting and say, will the Titans score 10 points?
Well, that might be
they'll
an
score
interesting
10. They'll score 10.
12.
They got 10 against the Bills.
one. 3 field goals is only 9. I don't know. Yeah.
5 safeties. That's what they'll get. Yeah.
No one's
everyone's going Detroit.
touching the Titans today.
Nope.
So how about then the Arizona Cardinals at the Miami Dolphins? Punk, let's try again.
Let's try again. Okay, this could be interesting if Tua does come back and starts for the Dolphins. To be fair, the Dolphins haven't looked too shabby in the last week or so. It's just very obvious that they are missing that linking piece, which is a sensible quarterback. Now,
Yep.
I mean, Tua's come out and said he's not wearing a Guardian cap, which I think is ridiculous. It would only take for him to take one hit and away we go again. We're back on the concussion merry-go-round. Cardinals have been very up and down. You know, it seems to be that if Kyler can't hit Marvin Harrison or can't find the space to make his runs, then they slightly struggle on offense and just look like they're probably wilting a little bit. I'm going to pick the Dolphins. I think Tua coming back makes a big difference to them, and I think that Miami defense is good enough to kind of bottle up Arizona enough to get them over the line. But if Tua goes out in the first quarter, then I can definitely see the Cardinals ending up winning it.
Okay, Finn.
Annoyingly, I'm going to go with the Cardinals
Oh no!
in this one.
What has happened?
I think, like Punk said, that the Dolphins have made steps forward, but it's still obvious how big of a hole that Tua's left. And there's a strong chance if he does start that he'll be not finishing the game. But also there's going to be an element of rust to him, and I think that the Cards are going to be able to sort of deal with that. As poor as their defense has been. I just think that even if Tua does play, there's going to be too much rust. So I'm going to go for the Cardinals,
Okay.
annoyingly.
I know how much you didn't want to do that, but there we go. Mike, how about you?
Um, Bluntly, Dolphins, and I'm betting on Tua playing. If Tua doesn't play, then they're going to go back to being one of the least functional offenses
Hmm.
in football, despite McDaniel. But yeah, I think they are going to get Tua playing. They're 2-4 now, and if they don't get something going soon, the season is just really done. So despite all of McDaniel's kind of humanitarian, we just need to go with the needs of Tua thing. I think the needs of the franchise is get him bloody playing now that it's legal, and I think
Yeah.
they're going to do that. And I think he'll give them the uplift they need to beat the Cardinals.
Dave.
I agree with young Finley for
Okay.
all the reasons he said.
So you're going for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Well, it obviously has to be a 3-2 split then because it's 2-2 at the moment. I've gone for the Cardinals. Again, I'm not sure that Tua is going to play, or even if he does, I don't think it's going to be the right game to come back to. I personally feel that the NFL should step in with this Guardian cap thing. This guy clearly should not be able to make the decision for himself.
I agree.
I disagree.
It's
I
their
disagree.
it's their product.
No, I agree. I agree in the fact that the thing is, it's a free choice. You can't make it a free choice for one person. If you're enforcing that person to wear a Guardian cap, he should not be in the league. He should not be playing because what you're saying is he is too vulnerable to. It opens him up for all kinds of legal issues. He's too vulnerable to concussions. Well, in that case, he shouldn't play.
The NFL are allowed to write a law right now
I'm
in
sure
their
they
big
are.
scroll that says if you've had 3 concussions,
I'm sure
then
they
you
are.
are now mandatory obligated to wear a Guardian cap, or you will not be able to play. You can go out in the car park and run around without a helmet on as much as you like, mate, or go
I'm
with a
sure
normal
that they
helmet.
can.
But you cannot play on an NFL field for an NFL team if you've had 3 concussions
I'm sure they can, but
without
they
extra
absolutely
protection
won't,
on.
and they shouldn't. It's
Well, I'm not
personal
saying they are
choice.
going to. I'm just
It's
saying that's what
personal
they should
choice.
do. Yeah.
It's from a
Personal
legal
choice.
perspective of people suing them after they've retired.
If they want to
'Cause
see someone potentially die on a field, then they can carry on. That's up to them.
I mean, yeah,
It's
please
up to the
let's not
player.
have any more collisions and twitching seizures on the field.
Yeah.
It's obviously not good for the people as human beings, and it's
If
obviously
we're
just
going,
very bad as a show.
UPS and Doritos don't want that
It's nothing good.
10 seconds before their advert.
if you're being perfectly
That's
honest,
what it's all
the
about.
dude
Kim.
should retire.
Unfortunately,
That's the
Oh
most.
yeah, no, we said that at the time.
He
We said that
absolutely
when
should
it
retire.
happened.
A Guardian cap isn't going to make a lick of difference. If he
He should have
slams
been
his head into
taken
the
out of
ground
his
again,
hand.
it's not going to help him out.
This guy
Anyway,
would
move
say
on.
hit me on a 20, wouldn't he? But we're going to move on. We're going to do the AFC East matchup of the Jets at the Patriots. Is anyone going to go for the? Well, I think maybe we might get someone dissenting here. Let's go, Dave, because you had to wait so long for your last pick.
Jets.
Okay. Mike?
Yeah, I'm saying the Jets.
We saw the Patriots in the flesh, didn't we, last week? So.
We saw the Patriots in the flesh, and there was not really much they were doing that would convince you to sort of advocate for them. I mean, although I think the Patriots are worse than the Jets at the moment, I definitely think the Jets are a lot more disappointing. They were sort of billed as a team this season whose Super Bowl window had reopened after having been preemptively shut at the beginning of last year. Nothing they've done so far has provided any evidence that that's really the case. The prominence of Nathaniel Hackett has kind of seen to them having any creativity or effectiveness in their offensive play. They've got a respectable defense, or at least they did until they binned off their highly competent, defensive-minded head coach. Who knows what that's going to look like this week? But whatever it looks like, I think it's going to be good enough to absorb the sort of damp squib of the Pats. And yeah, it's going to be the Jets.
Okay. Punk?
Yeah, I'm going with the New Jersey Rodgers.
Yep. Still. Okay. Finn?
Yeah, Jets for me.
It's a sweep. It's another Jet sweep. On to the next one then. It's the NFC South matchup of the Atlanta Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Finn?
I've gone with Tampa on this one.
Okay.
Having watched the Falcons last week, struggle against almighty side. Phenomenal team, some may say. No, having watched Falcons last week, I wasn't that impressed with what they were doing. They had glimpses And I just think that the Bucks D is going to do enough to keep Cousins and co quiet.
Okay, very buoyant. Punk.
Falcons won the first game that these two had this
Mhm.
season. Divisional games are always different. I think I'm not sure I like the Falcons playing away in Tampa Bay, but I'm going to stick with them. I've got a bit of faith in them, certainly more than the way they played last week. So I'm going to pick the Falcons to do the double.
Okay, Mike.
I think it's a coin flip. You could say that pick the Bucks on form. They've been absolutely burying worse teams, but the injuries are piling up. Baker seems to have got it together and is having a season that kind of makes him a quarterback that can play despite some kind of bad seasons elsewhere. I was going to go the Bucks, but I'm actually going to switch my pick to the Falcons. I think they're less injured. I think it's a bit of a coin toss. Let's go for the sweep. Make it
That's
fun.
fine. That's fine. And Dave.
I'm going to go Falcons because I've agreed with Finn too much, which is never good for anyone
Ah,
in terms of
Yeah,
success
it won't
ratio.
end well for you.
well, with that, we have put Finland Island because I'm also going for the Falcons in this game. So,
Ooh.
You know what? Let's make it spicy. I'll double down as
oh,
well.
Double down.
you.
I like it.
Okay, well done. You're allowed to do that, and they are the underdogs as well. Whew. Okay, on to the next game. We're still in the 5 o'clock window. It is the Green Bay Packers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Shall I bother with this? Is anyone actually going to say the Jags? I know they just got a good win, and they're at home.
They got a win. I'm not sure.
They got a win against the Patriots. Yeah, has
sure
anyone
good's
seen
the
them
word.
beating the Packers here?
No,
No.
Packers all
No.
day.
It's a sweep then for the Packers. Let's talk about the AFC South then briefly. It's the Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans. Anyone fancy the Colts in this game?
No,
Not for me.
Not in the
Oh,
slightest.
Jesus. Okay, all right, another sweep there. That's the end of the 5 o'clock slate. So on to 8:05 in the UK, and that is the New Orleans Saints at the Los Angeles Chargers. Better not ask those two. I've got to ask Finn, the only person that's potentially neutral.
Potentially neutral.
Potentially, I don't know with you anymore.
What do you mean with me? Punk's the neutral one.
Well, but yes, okay, yeah, he is. I'll come to him next.
Where am I going with this one? This I think is going to be quite a low-scoring affair. I don't think it's going to be the most exciting game of the weekend by any stretch. Both teams are a bit battered with injuries. But for no real reason, I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Okay. Well, thank you for the analysis. So let's go to the other neutral person here, and that is Punk.
The Chargers are a much more together, cohesive football team. The Saints, to me, feel like they're trying their hardest not to become a dumpster fire, and it's kind of backfiring a little
not trying
bit.
very hard.
No, exactly. I don't see Spanky doing much against this Chargers defense, if I'm honest. I know
If he
Alvin Kamara-
plays,
well, yeah.
you
I
got
know
pulled
Alvin
last week.
Kamara signed his new deal and everything, but I don't think that's going to give them the bump they need. So yeah, I'm going Chargers, and I think although low scoring, will be quite comfortable.
Okay. Mike.
Yeah, the Saints are really on the skids, aren't they? They've interpreted kind of 2 and 5 is we'll win 2 games quite well and then lose 5.
Yeah.
And I think the league has kind of figured them out, pretty much. I don't think Carr's going to play, which isn't great because obviously they're going to be playing at sort of sub-replacement level QB. I can't see them having enough to stop the Chargers. I really can't. So I'm going to be really dull and go for the Chargers as well.
Okay. Dave.
Saints are ravaged by injury. The only question I've got really is, am I allowed to double down on the Chargers?
No
No.
job.
Okay. Well, that tells you everything.
Because
you
it's
need
a
to know then.
sweep, Dave. You're not allowed
Oh, is
to.
it? See, I don't know who. I'm asking that before you've answered. So
I was going to Chargers as well.
Okay, well,
as long as
got to
Cameron
cover
Dicker's
ourselves, hasn't he?
alive, then we've got a good chance of them getting a win there. So
I think this is all common sense, although we probably need more disagreement for kind of great podcasting.
not a great
last
week for that.
Last week, the Broncos ran it down their throat consistently. And what's the one thing that the Chargers are good at this season? Power runs. It's not looking good for the Saints. It's not looking good.
No. The other 8:05 game is the Buffalo Bills at the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to go with Finn first. Who are you going for, Finn?
On the basis that reverse Uno worked last week, Buffalo, please.
God,
I will happily sacrifice a point for the rest of the season if it means Seattle win each week.
Yeah, it's not how it works, I told you. But Mike,
I'm playing by different rules now, Jim.
Certainly are.
The Seahawks have kind of just generally good pieces on offense, but a defense that's quite questionable as to whether it will show up or not. I'd say the Bills are fairly complete. I know that they don't have a completely clean winning record, but they've looked pretty decent and they have a very strong roster. I think that they're going to have enough, and I'm picking the Bills.
Okay, Dave.
I've not been too impressed with Josh Allen so far this season, but he's yet to throw a pick. But he just hasn't looked his normal self. So flying coast to coast against that Seattle defense, I'm going Seattle.
Ooh. Okay, so Punk.
I know the Buffalo Bills are 5-2, but they are not a 5-2 team.
I agree.
They've been fits and starts a good team. I think Josh Allen's played within himself because he's had to, because he hasn't had the supporting cast around him to help him out. Seattle are kind of the quintessential will they, won't they turn up team, as in, yeah, they'll turn up and win a game really handily, and you'll think, oh, they're on a roll, and then next week they'll absolutely hit the bed and be dreadful. I think good Seattle turn up this week. I think they're going to start putting a bit of a run together. So I'm going Seattle, and I'm going to double down on the Seahawks.
Double down.
Oh.
Gregory Rousseau's looking good for the Bills this year.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course they just got Amari Cooper rocked up. Gets pointed where to go and catches touchdowns. Well, I'm going to go for the Bills. I do like the Seahawks, I do. I like picking them. But I'm going for the Bills.
Just not this week.
And my guy Ray Davis as well. He's starting to stretch his legs. So I'm also going to double down.
Double down.
So we have a double down off.
Ooh.
Double down off.
Double down.
Come on. Let's get nuts.
You're on quite a good streak with your double downs, aren't you?
I'm on a 5-game winning streak with my double downs. I'm 6-1.
Was it just me and Dave that went Seahawks in the end?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a 3-2
Yes,
split.
and you went against yourself, didn't you?
Yes.
Reverse Uno is where I'm going.
Yeah, well, that's
not
rubbish.
It's not a bad thing though with your and my record.
Yeah,
so
I'm
I think it's all right.
amazed with that more people aren't fancying the Seahawks. Like you said, Dave, Bills are going backwards. They're going, east to west. Seattle's not an easy place to play anyway.
I don't think it is.
Well.
Don't get me wrong, Punk. Go on, Jim.
I was going to say, for a double down, it's got to be not unanimous, and it really should be something that you've got a chance of losing. So,
oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm just surprised that more of you are on the.
There aren't many in this slate, I don't think, that are really kind of close games.
True.
This Bills Seahawks one is fairly close. I mean, I can't pick them both, but yeah, Bills by a few percent.
Yeah. The 8:25 games. The first one is the Carolina Panthers at the Denver Broncos. I'm going to ask Dave because he likes to say his team. So
Broncos, obviously.
Is anyone picking the Panthers?
No. Is anyone picking the Panthers for the rest of the season?
Let them speak, Dave. Is anyone picking the Panthers in this game?
They're unpickable.
There you go.
Mike
You know
comes
what?
out.
If
It's a
the
sweep.
Panthers were at home, I might risk it, but they're not.
They're not even
in
at
the-
home.
Why don't you pick them away, and then I can double down on the Broncos?
They've had their
No.
Andy Dalton dead cat bounce
No.
game. That's happened.
Just to block
Yeah.
Dave's double
Yeah.
down, I won't pick them. I'll go Broncos.
And since that, he's now throwing interceptions to defensive linemen.
Yeah, he is doing that now.
Yeah.
The another 8:25 game. It's the Chiefs versus the Raiders. Separate the two of you boys. Finn, let's try not to be
Um,
too long on this.
Chiefs. Even though the Raiders know how to beat the Chiefs, I just don't trust the Raiders at the moment.
Mm. Dave.
I'm going to shock you. I'm going to go for the Las Vegas Raiders to lose to the Chiefs. I can't do it, man.
Oh, disgraceful behaviour. Punk.
Part of what you said is right, Finn. The Raider
I agree.
Nation does know how to beat the Chiefs. The problem is, I'm not sure the offensive
Score more
coordinator
points.
has figured out how to beat the Chiefs, and I certainly don't think we've got the personnel on the field at the minute to beat the Chiefs. Having said that, weirder things happen in this world, and a 6-0 Chiefs team that doesn't deserve to be 6-0 deserves to lose to somebody. So why not? Having said that, we tend to beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. So I'm going Chiefs. I'm going with reverse Uno stat, and I'm going for the Chiefs.
Oh no. Mike, are you going with your Chiefs?
Funnily enough, I'm actually picking the Raiders.
You're
Are you?
not.
I'll
No,
double
I'm
down on the
not.
Chiefs then.
Of course I'm not.
Thanks.
Thing
I
is,
knew it.
the Raiders like to beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead.
Mhm.
The Allegiant is actually colloquially known as Arrowhead West,
Yeah.
and same rules don't apply. So the Raider Super Bowl isn't on this weekend, and so I think the Chiefs are going to win. It's a potential bed game, but only at Arrowhead.
Yeah. Okay, so another sweep. Oh, the other 8:25 game is one that got flexed into this spot, pushed out the Eagles and Bengals, and that is the Chicago Bears at the Washington Commanders. So, Dave,
Washington.
it's very quick. With Marcus Mariota starting.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, hello, Dave.
Got that one, didn't
Hold on
he?
a minute.
Yes, I'm still going Washington.
Okay.
Is he definitely starting, Mariota?
I can't
It's
see with a
50-50.
rib injury that they're going to risk Jaden.
You stick him in a Kevlar body armor, and away you go.
What if he refuses his own choice?
Well,
No, not done this again.
He wants to go skins. He can wear skins if he wants. Mike.
I don't know. It's a shame this, because if Daniels were playing, this would clearly be the pick of the weekend.
Why they flexed it.
The number one and the number one and the number two overall draft picks
Mhm.
teeing off against each other. Having said all that, Marcus Mariota looked pretty handy last week.
Against the Panthers.
Very different to the kind of sad, lost Atlanta Falcon he was, for example. And yeah, he made plays with his legs. He completed passes, looked sharp. I thought he looked decent. Having said that, Caleb Williams seems to be figuring out how to play in this league as well, and is getting better every week after a couple of really hapless double-digit only yardage performances right at the beginning of the season. He seems to be getting the protection, and we're now starting to see the kind of play-extending, athletic throws that he makes on the move that he was obviously highly fancied for the draft.
Yep.
I don't really know whether Daniels will play or not. I think if Daniels was definitely going to play, I'd have to say the Commanders, but I'm going to go with the Bears. Make it fun.
Okay. Punk.
this is a coin flip game. Even if
is.
Daniel's playing, I think this is a coin flip game. I think it's really interesting to see how that Chicago defense pairs up against the Washington offense. I'm not as high on Caleb yet as other people seem to be. I think I still see really rookie tendency sometimes in that he'll throw into coverage, he'll try and squeeze balls in where they shouldn't really be going.
Phrasing.
Oh,
Deshaun Watson,
God.
take notes.
Dave, you got your yeah, exactly. Dave, have you got your? I mean, Mariota. Even with Mariota starting, Mariota, we've said for years, is the best backup in the league, and he kind of proved it again last week. Everywhere he's played well as a backup. So, you know what? I'm gonna give them the 3-point edge just because they're at home and go Commanders.
Okie dokie. So Finn, who are you going for?
I agree with everything that's been said. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think if it was 100% Jane Daniels was starting, I'd go Commanders instantly. But the Bears as Mike said, have been able to find a way to actually start playing football recently. Coming off a bye as well.
Hmm.
But I just think that I trust the Commanders more. I think they're flying high. I think they are in good spirits. They know what they can do. And they know that if Mariota is starting, yes, it was against the Panthers, but we saw that actually he can slot into that offense and it still works. There's going to be things that he can't do that Daniels can, but ultimately, in terms of moving the ball and progressing plays, he can still do that to a good level, and enough of a level to win the game. So Washington for me.
You guys are
Okay.
talking me up. You guys are all persuading me off my pick. I'm going to stick with it. But yeah, all of that. Terry McLaurin's playing really well. Scary Terry's getting scary again.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm going to try and shore up that confidence there, Mike, because I'm going for the Bears in this one. As Finn mentioned, they come off the bye week. They had a great week before that. The Commanders, yeah, okay, they beat up on the Panthers, but Jaden Daniels had already put up 10 points before he had that injury. And I think you started off so quickly that Mariota came into the easiest situation possible. You give him the start of a game against a tough defense, against an offense with a lot of weapons that are starting to kind of feel themselves. I'm going for the Bears in this one. I
He could
just
go right
think that
back in
they've
his
got a
shell
little
if they
bit,
find a
a
way
little
to
bit
get to
stronger.
him.
Yeah, they've had more time to plan this as well. And of course, good things don't happen to the Commanders very often. So they're going to have a loss here and there. So there we go.
It's a shame one of these teams has to lose, really, because
It is.
these are two franchises that have basically had to eat for a long time.
Hmm.
And it's nice to see them having some players.
Absolutely. The Sunday night game is the Dallas Cowboys at the San Francisco 49ers. I'm sure when they scheduled this, they thought it was going to be a great game. It probably won't be, but I'm going to go with Punk first. Who are you going for?
Oh, 49ers don't have any receivers.
Well, Juwan Jennings,
Well, okay,
Ricky Pearsall.
Well, no, but Jennings is questionable. Pearsall's just come back from being shot.
Yeah.
So, they were playing 5, 6, and 7 at the end of last week against the Chiefs. Dallas. Oh, I don't know. I hate Dallas. They're rubbish. They're a terrible, terrible team. But I think the 49ers are so banged up, they might just take advantage of it. So I'm going to do it, and I'm going to pick the Cowboys.
Wow. Wow. Dave.
Double down on the 49ers, please.
Double down.
Double down on the 49ers just because I picked the Cowboys.
So
Yes.
he's just waiting for
He's an
someone to
opening.
go for a different team.
Terms conditions apply. Ask for written details.
What you've done there is you opened up the door
Yes.
for everyone else to jump through it. Mike.
For me, it's got to be the 49ers. Everything that was said about their disastrous injury situation. Why is it always the 49ers who are always one of the most injured teams? It's kind of weird. That guy who's returning punts will be lining up as a receiver this week. What's his name? I still think that the Cowboys are way worse than their 3-3 record at the moment. Their offense is basically just Dak Prescott trying to find CeeDee Lamb. That's the offense. I think that Shanahan's going to have a bit more about him than that, and he's going to find a way to make do and mend and muddle through with his various UDFAs and rejects that he manages to find behind the sofa during the week. He'll come up with something. He'll simplify the playbook. They've still got a competent, uninjured, decisive QB. I think they'll be all right. Still got George Kittle as well.
They do still have him for now.
And Mason's been great this season, standing in for McCaffrey.
He has done pretty well. Yeah, he's done all right.
So I think they've still got some playmakers, and I think they'll win.
Mm-hmm. Finn?
Yeah, annoyingly, I'm going to have to go with the 49ers. The
You don't have
Cowboys
to,
look.
Finn. You can grow a player and actually go against the grain.
Go
Well,
against Daddy
the problem
Punk.
is, Punk, is the Cowboys are genuinely awful. So
Yeah, they genuinely are, but this is exactly the type of genuine game where an awful team will win because there's so many injuries. And anyway,
well, I'll let you bask in the glory of winning the point then if they do.
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I'll be happy anyway, but I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Ezekiel Elliott will carry the ball 12 times for 19 yards.
Enjoy the island, Punk. You know you're on it. And
Very much.
yeah. So on to the Monday night game, and that is the New York Football Giants at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike, play us out, sir. Who are you going for? And why is it the Steelers?
It is the Steelers
Hmm.
because the Giants are clearly nearing the end of another demoralized and demoralizing, useless era.
Yeah.
While the Steelers are starting to figure things out on offense, they never didn't figure things out on defense. They were always slamming the door in people's faces, then doing it again. So yeah, the Steelers look good on both sides of the ball now. They won handily last week. There's really very little to like about the Giants other than what's his name, their rookie first round wide receiver. Everything else is just gloom. So Steelers.
Tyrone Tracy. Yeah.
Malik Neighbors.
Malik
Oh,
Neighbors.
Malik
Neighbours.
Neighbours. Oh,
That's
sorry, I
the
thought
guy.
about the running back. Sorry, yeah, Malik Neighbours. Yeah. when he's not concussed or at a concert, yeah, he's very
When he's
good.
not concussed or at a concert, he's brilliant.
Excellent. Bin.
Steelers for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, it's not for you.
What do you mean?
I'm trying to get a point here.
No one's doing this for you, Jim.
We'll see. Dave.
This is the worst Monday night matchup I could have come up with. At least have one side of the ball, someone who can, at least sling it and put 50 points on a team.
Well, we're ready. We're ready.
It's the game no one wants to watch. Yeah.
There's
Steelers.
you.
I have a feeling that this game is going to involve the worst, most tragic Daniel Jones fumble that's going to
It's-
involve TJ Watt in some way that you've
No,
ever
Could be his
seen.
He's
last
gonna-
game.
He's going to win. They're going to win.
That's it.
I'm not
Oh, okay.
putting
You're
money on
switching
it.
it. Okay, you're switching it.
No,
You're
no, no,
picking.
no, no, no. I'm not putting money on it.
You just say that. I just took your answer there. Thank you.
You
very
make
much.
it up on your spreadsheet. Anyways, it doesn't matter what people say.
I don't need to, mate. I don't need to.
Conveniently, you always win.
You know
Well,
what I
I'm not winning. He's winning at the moment, not me.
By
Punk.
miles.
Punk,
I
finish us
have
off.
tried so hard to find a way for the Giants to win this game,
Mm.
and it's just impossible
So
to do so. Their offensive line is just so bad.
They lost Andy
Again.
Lawrence last week as well.
It's ridiculous. So, unfortunately, I do have to pick the Pittsburgh Steelers. I cannot find a way that Neighbors and Co can actually pull anything out of this.
Like music to my ears. Thank you very much, boys. And of course, no one's on the bye this week. So this is one of those weird.
Oh, Jim, who are you going
No
for? You
bye
never
weeks.
said.
Oh, it's a sweep. I'll go for the
Alright,
Steelers.
just to be clear.
I want the
But
point.
hang on. So, where are the double downs?
Oh, well, I've done my
Against
double
or
down, and you've done
against
your
each
double
other?
down.
Dave's-
Finn,
Dave's
done
well,
mine.
it's Mike who needs to do a double down, sir. So on your
Is it
picks, Mike, it can't be someone that has got a sweep, but who would you like to double down for the people?
Okay. Can I have the Eagles? I picked the Eagles against
Double
the Bungles.
down.
That was a fairly
I went
even-handed
for the
game.
Bengals, so
You
yeah.
can go for the 49ers if you want against the Cowboys. Punk's opened the door for that.
I'll take the Eagles. Make it fun.
Okay. The people haven't won a double down so far this season. So, okay. Well, I think the Eagles are going to win that game. So, excellent. Mike, thank you so much for coming and do the picks, mate. It's always a pleasure to get you on. And
Pleasure. It's nice to see you guys.
good luck for that
Thank you very
3P.
much, Mike. No, not good luck.
No,
No,
none
I
of
said
Terrible
through
luck.
gritted teeth.
break a leg, quite literally.
Oh, no. Oh,
Yeah, break
no.
an ACL.
No.
Happened Achilles.
Thanks, Mike. Take care, mate.
Cheers. See you guys.
Cheers, Mike.
See you later.
Cheers,
Bye.
mate.
So there we go. Those are the picks for week 8. And, well, we'll be back obviously next week to review what happened there and see whether someone goes 16-0. Obviously, Dave, you'll be hoping
Mate.
to go 2 better there.
I mean, there's so many games that are one-sided. There's a good chance that, a couple of us might go 16-0, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
When,
You'll need a big
when the
anchor.
games are this one-sided, there's a good chance at least 2 of them lose.
Do you remember we had Phil on last year, and I think it was the Cowboys who were on an absolute red-hot streak,
Mhm.
lost to the Cards who were playing out their arse.
Yep.
I think Josh
Exactly.
Dobbs was their quarterback, and they lost. Everyone was sitting there scratching their head, going, "How the hell did that happen?" So there'll be a couple.
And Phil
Yeah,
picked the
always
Cardinals as well, obviously, because they're the
Yeah.
oldest team in the league. So
It was they're the tallest team,
Yeah.
or they've got the most amount of fingers, or some. There was some nonsense as to the reason he picked them.
yes, we should be back next week to talk about all of those games, and hopefully we've got some of them right. In the meantime, make sure you're following us on social media, on Twitter, on Blue Sky and Threads and all those kind of places. Yeah, and of course, the big one is patreon.com/finaldown. Please sign up for that. If you got to this part of the pod, just sign up. Give likes and subscribes and tell other people, because that's how the pod keeps going. But until next week, I've been Jim. That's been Finn. That's been Never Dave. That's been Punk Radar. Thank you very much for listening.